Hi, thanks for coming back to Leap Taken. This is Mika, and here at Leap Taken, we talk about all things witchy, witchcraft, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, and anything else spiritual. Anything else I want to talk about, honestly. But today, what we're going to talk about is candle magic with a twist. So I got this cool candle. It's still wrapped in plastic. I'm not going to take it out until probably tomorrow. But check this out. I got this when I was still living in Florida. I know you can order them online, but I was able to go into a Botanica shop and actually get it there. I had a nail figure, but I used that in a spell already. So this lovely candle is going to be used in one of my full moon spells that I'm going to be doing. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I will show some of that for sure once I do it. You know, I don't want to do it ahead of time because I'm going to do it then. But yeah, I'm going to do that. So candle magic and how I do it. So typically for me, I'm using mostly 7-day candles, which I love. I usually carve holes in them and I pour my anointing oil or blessing oil in them. My oil of choice is either something I've made myself or essential oils. Essential oils to me are the quintessential magical oils. They're already fortified, they're already magical because they have the very essence of whatever it is that you're using. If it's basil, if it's lavender, if it's eucalyptus, if it's peppermint, whatever, it's got the raw essential magic. It's the secret elixir. So I just pour that in the holes on my 7-day candles. The number of holes that I'll carve in, usually using a pen that I have, a pen I use specifically for that purpose, that matters. I used to do 7 because that number was significant. Now I do 3 mostly because that number is very significant to me. That's sort of my magical number, 3. So I usually carve 3 holes, and I'll put my herbs there inside the holes. Excuse me, and the holes are about the size of a pen or a pencil. But I'll, sprinkle my herbs, I put my oils, I anoint it, I use Florida water to clean the outside of the glass part of the 7-day candle. And then I write my intentions or any symbols on the outside. I usually take any labels off. I'm not interested in any holy saints or figures on my candles. I don't work with that at all. So I usually peel that off, wash it off before I use it, clean, just clean it completely off, no adhesive or anything. Then the Florida water, and then I, dry it off, of course, and then write my intentions using a marker. Now, since I'm a marker, pen, pencil sort of fanatic, I like all different types of writing instruments, maybe a little too much. I have different colors, which will correspond with the spell that I'm doing. So I take it a step further. Now, I don't bless the pen or anything specifically, but the action of when I'm writing it down, that part is my blessing. Once I've done that, I can have it prepped and ready to go before I even get to the spell, or I might be doing it in real time as part of my prep, and then the next thing I do is actually the spell work. Lately, that's how it's been. I haven't been doing a lot of prep ahead of time, which is fine. But yeah, once I get that done, light the candle, I usually speak something once I light the candle. The timing of when I light the candle also matters as well, because it might be something I do after I've said some words out loud or after I've done some sort of action, or it might be something that needs to be lit ahead of time, and then I do the next course of action. If I'm writing something, if I'm doing some heavy breathing, the candle's purpose might be to ground me or to help center me or bring me peace. So there's that. You can have more than one candle. Sometimes when we talk about candle magic, it almost seems as if we're only talking about one candle. You can have multiple candles going at one time for different purposes, and started at different times. One could be for the full moon. One is because the moon is waning or up until the point it was waxing. You have different, candle magic spells going. Perfectly fine. I've done that, and to me, we're magical beings. We're capable of doing more than one thing. Even in the mundane world and in the magical sense, you can have more than one candle going just fine. I am so looking forward to using this bad boy right here, or bad girl. It's in plastic, but it's a female figure candle. cannot wait. I cannot wait. I got this out of storage. I brought it with me from Florida. I was waiting for the right time. So I'm gonna use that for my full moon ritual. So that's exciting. I'll probably, I'll film it. I will film some of it, but not all of it, because some of it I want to keep a little private, but maybe I'll just film just what it looks like at the time of, what my spell work, an active spell, how I'm doing it at that time. I can do that, or just the visuals of it. But yeah, cool candle. Can't wait to get using that on the 15th. That's the full moon. I might do it the night before. I'm not sure. We'll see. But most likely on the actual full moon on the 15th. But yeah, candle magic. So that's pretty much it. I use candle magic almost 99% of the time when I do any sort of spell work. It works for me. I love it. I also use herbal magic as well. So I'm bringing in herbs and things like that, my own blends to maybe burn, usually burn. Fire goes well with me and my Aries sign, sun sign. So definitely love candle magic, burning herbs, incense, things like that. Whatever petitions I write, I typically burn them. So yeah, that's kind of my deal. Fire. So that works for me. Fire. I say candle magic, but to me it's sort of using the element of fire because that power, it gets me going. I have some Aries oil that I picked up from a Botanica. Actually, I want to believe it's the same one I got this from, because there was a couple in South Florida that I found. But yeah, I picked up some Aries oil. And let me tell you, that stuff, I pretty much used it all up before I left Florida. So I'm going to have to look online or create my own version of it. But man, that stuff was great. It was powerful. And I would anoint my candles with that. Things would happen quick. Very good. Whatever I was putting out there, it was coming back quickly. We're Aries are very powerful and we're very impatient. So the Aries oil was really working. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. And all I really had to say, just a quick video about candle magic and how I use it. And, you can, and again, just to reemphasize, you can have more than one candle going for different purposes. If you didn't already know that, I do it successfully. Most of my spells, again, are with candles, and most of them are successful. So I find it works for me. I'm interested in different types of magics, of course, but I always go back to candle magic. It's just my go-to, and I feel the most at ease. And I think if you're doing something and you're putting your attention in it, it's something you really want to happen, use what works for you. And candle magic works for me. I've heard other people say, oh, we need to branch out. I read different things, especially in social, on like Instagram, different posts I've seen. It's like, oh, I hear a lot about putting someone in a jar and things like that. And that's perfectly, so if that works for them and that seems to be the thing, hey, work with your jars. Candles work for me though, but they usually put a candle on the jar, so I don't know. I'm pro candle magic. That's all I'm going to say about that. And pro anything else for the most part, but I typically, I stay with my old standbys. Colors of the candles matter as well. The only time it doesn't matter, in my opinion, is if you don't have any and you use white. Then at that point, to me, you can use white in substitution for other candles. I truly believe that. I've done that in a pinch. If I didn't have the color, I use white. I would, sometimes I put a marker and I would color it for the color that I wanted, because maybe I didn't have it and I needed to do that spell right then and there. But for the most part, I usually carve my intentions, and that's enough if you don't have a colored candle. I think that the definitions or the meaning behind the color is sort of universal. People tend to think black for banishing, typically. But if you have an alternate meaning, if the color black means something specific to you for that spell, but you're not doing a banishing, I would use it. Even if you've read somewhere that it's this or it's that, use it if it makes sense to you, because you're the magic. So if you're intending it to do a certain thing, then it will. Outside of that, the days of the week, of course, when you're doing any spell matters on some level, but at the same time, just like moon phases, but at the same time, In a pinch, I've worked magic. I didn't look at the moon phase. I'll be honest with you. I didn't look. I didn't care. It had to get done. And it got done. So, if do what you got to do, right? But if you're planning it out and you have the time to plan, yeah, I would probably pay attention to the day of the week and the moon phase for sure. But outside of that, yeah, I just wanted to get on real quick and just talk about it. I will, again, do some little visuals of what I'm going to do for my full moon ritual using that particular black candle, which I think is really cool. And yeah, and I'll have some other candles because I have some other things that are, I have more than one thing that I'm doing for my celebration of the full moon. So, and using that energy of the full moon, and I'd like to do a couple different things for it. But thank you for coming again to Leap Taken and to listen to me rattle on about candle magic. Hopefully I've told you something you didn't already know, or maybe something to remember. And again, just thanks for watching and stay tuned for more videos. Bye.